I'm getting higher, higher, feeling in my sleep. Sometimes it feels like I'll never go past you. Sometimes it feels like forever. I'm going high, closer to my dream. I'm going higher, higher. I used to be. Sometimes you just have to closer to my dreams. Feel it all over me. Baby, close your eyes and see what you really
All right, everybody, welcome to the Mindset webinar. This is just an introduction to our personal self-development team that we will be starting. I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes just to hop on, and then we're going to get started. As you guys are coming on, please make sure that your lines are muted. Also, drop your city and state. That way we can know who we're talking to. We want to make sure that we're building community within our team, and we want to know where everyone is from.
I'm getting high, closer to my dream. I'm getting higher, higher, feeling in my sleep. Sometimes it feels like I'll never go past you.
Alrighty, awesome. Thank you guys for hopping on to our new self-development group that we have going on, me and Nikila. I'm super excited that you guys made it on. So guys, it's 21 of us. I'm beyond proud that you guys made it a due diligence to hop on and just hear valuable information, how to take your life and your business to the next level. So before I bring on Nikila, I just want to kind of reiterate about this on Tuesdays that we will be doing this self-development class. And then, of course, we're going to come up with a curriculum to get you guys to the next level as well. So, Akila, I'm trying to share my screen and it's not letting. Oh, okay, perfect. So the book that we're going to be reading, and I recommend you guys to, can you guys see my screen? Yes. Okay. I recommend you guys to get this book. You can get it on Apple Music. I know I listen to it on Apple Music, Amazon, if you're a book reader where you actually have to get the book. You could do Audible, but we recommend you for this week to get this book because that's what we're going to be reading. You could read it at your own pace, but then on Tuesdays, we will come back on a Zoom call just like this and kind of go over what we read and the tips that we have and just have a discussion and Q&A questions on how we can implement this in our business as well. So I just kind of want to share that. We are going to make a group within on Facebook. And what I want you guys to do once you guys purchase the book, or if you got it on Audible, if you're reading it through Apple Music, whatever it is, just post it in so we all can be on one accord, because it does not make no sense for someone not to have it, but then we're trying to do this self-development group that we have on. So mandatory by tomorrow to have the book. I will create the group, or Akila, and we will just post that in the group as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to hand it over right back to Miss Akila Beasley. She's doing tremendous things, and she just got a whole platform set for you guys. I'm super excited to be working with her. So do we have Akila on the line with us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Shammy, for that warm welcome. If you can you make me the host again so that way I can share my screen? And for one, I'm definitely happy to be collaborating with you on a self-development team. This is definitely something that we all need. And we definitely want to make sure that all of our teams are growing and everybody that we bring into this business is growing as well. So I definitely think that this was an excellent idea. I'm so glad that Shammy, reached out to me. And I'm also glad that we were able to go ahead and kickstart this today. So pretty much what I want to do is hop right in. I don't want to be before you guys too long, but I do want to be able to drop some valuable insights that's going to help us not only shape our mindset for how we're going to approach the business, but also develop our mindset for the long term. Like, yes, we are entrepreneurs. Yes, we are servant leaders. And so in order to do this tough task, we're going to need to be able to approach it with the right mindset. So pretty much the name of this presentation is Mindset, the New Psychology of Success. And it's going to be discussing how we can break out of self-defeating patterns. So real quick, tonight what we're going to be discussing is how we can learn how to live up to our full potential, okay? So we're going to be talking about growth mindset, managing our emotions, personal development, self-reflection, and analysis of development. Also, discipline, focus, productivity, achieving our goals, income producing activities, as well as team building and leadership, because these are the building blocks of our business. Now, the very first thing that we need to really focus on is mindset. Now, I know a lot of us understand that in order to grow, you have to develop a growth mindset. So real quick, what I want to do is talk about the differences between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And I'm going to start on the left-hand side and discuss the fixed mindset. So you know that you have a fixed mindset if you're someone who avoids challenges, you shy away from things that you don't know. You don't explore the unfamiliar. You're also unable to handle criticism or feedback. Your intelligence and talent is static and it does not develop past birth. You do not carry out any actions without seeking approval. You want approval from everyone. You're focused on proving yourself. You're threatened by the success of others. Effort is not regarded as fruitful. You're understanding that failure is the limit of ability, and you like to give up easily. So if you guys know anyone who has a fixed mindset, or if you are someone who used to have a fixed mindset, I know you can say that some of these characteristics are not characteristics that are going to help you grow. What we need to do is focus our mind on becoming more bright, more colorful, like the growth mindset on the right side of the screen, because we need to become leaders who view challenges as opportunities. We want to acknowledge and embrace our weaknesses. That way we can turn them into strengths. We also want to learn to give and receive constructive criticism. That's the only way we're going to grow. We need to make sure that we understand that our intelligence and talent is dynamic and ever improving. It's going to always be evolving because we are life learners. We need to prioritize learning over seeking approval. We also need to focus on the process instead of the end result. We need to be inspired by the success of others. Think of learning as brain training. Also, understanding that failure is an opportunity to grow. It is not the limit of your abilities. It's actually an opportunity to grow. And we also need to learn how to persist in the face of setbacks. If we develop a growth mindset, not only is our business going to grow, but we are also going to genuinely be helping people. Because if you can transfer this mindset into the mindset of people who do this business with you, then you're going to be doing way more for them than helping them get paid. You're actually going to be helping them add value to themselves and add on to their human capital, which is amazing, guys. Now, most of us have a fixed mindset, and it's not our fault. The reason why we have a fixed mindset is because of how we raised. We may have experienced certain traumas, and those things may have caused us to come up with certain coping mechanisms or defense mechanisms that actually stunt our growth, right? Also, from a child, you're told what not to do by your parents, your teachers, and authority figures. And sometimes as adults, we don't realize that, we add to people not having a growth mindset. And so maybe the adults in your lives, pretty much cause you to have a fixed mindset. That's not your fault. Also, we're not encouraged to try new things or to try things on our own. A lot of us grow to be dependent. It also causes us to lack confidence, and we don't have the willpower that it takes to get to the next level. Also, a lot of us have a fixed mindset because we are afraid of being wrong. Society is fixated on right versus wrong. Even in schools, I used to be a teacher, so I know this. Even in schools, it's pass or fail. You're right or wrong. You're correct or incorrect. Those types of things really, really, really make people not want to step outside of their comfort zone and challenge themselves. You also have a fixed mindset because of your fear of failure. Now, we all know that self-image is something that we pride ourselves on, but one thing about us as people is we're very concerned with looking intelligent or unintelligent, and that could really contribute to the reason why our mindset is fixed, right? We should be able to take risks, but sometimes our self-image really interferes with that. Also, a lot of us are afraid of correction. Your ego does not allow you to be corrected because you don't want to look wrong. You don't want to look unintelligent or like you don't know what you're talking about. So a lot of times when you do get correction, it causes you to overanalyze. Then you repeat the same mistakes, and that also stunts your growth. So we want to really get out of that fixed mindset. We want to focus on learning versus seeking approval from other people, okay? That's really going to help us become more coachable and more teachable. So real quick, what I want to do is play a short video that is really going to help us understand the importance of being coachable and teachable. Everyone that you will ever meet knows something that you do not. So it's very important that when you start this business, you remain coachable and teachable, and you really, really, really stay close to your mentors.
As business owners, we long for employees who are open and willing to learn. And it actually can be very disheartening when someone takes the opposite stance, when they believe that they already have all of the answers and they're mostly interested in doing everything all alone. The reality is there's always more to learn. And there are many people out there in the world who are willing and wanting to share their knowledge with you if you seek it out and you gratefully accept it. So there is an ancient proverb. It's called empty your cup. And it is an excellent reminder that we as managers, as entrepreneurs, as employees, as friends, as just plain humans, that we are best served by remaining eternal students. And there are several versions of this proverb, but let me share with you one that is really, really popular. So once, a long time ago, there was a wise Zen master, and people from far and near would seek his counsel and ask for his wisdom. Many people would come and ask him to teach them, enlighten them in the way of Zen, and he seldom turned anyone away. But one day, an important and rich man came to visit the master, and this man said, "I have come today to ask you to teach me about Zen. Open my mind to enlightenment." The tone of this important man's voice was one used to getting his own way. The Zen master smiled and said, "We should discuss this matter over a cup of tea." When the tea was served, the master poured the tea into the visitor's cup. He poured it and he poured it, and the tea rose to the rim and then began to spill over onto the table and finally onto the robe of the wealthy man. Finally, the important man shouted, "Enough! You are spilling the tea all over me. Can't you see the cup is full?" The master stopped pouring and he smiled at his guests and he said, "You are like this teacup, so full that nothing more can be added. Come back to me when the cup is empty. Come back to me with an empty mind." So how full is your cup? Have you been leading your team under the belief that everyone has something worthwhile to share? Do you value and openly seek the opinions and input of others, not to reinforce your own beliefs, but to expand them? Do you believe the greatest achievements are the result of the team instead of the individual? Or have you charged ahead alone, making decisions independent of what others think and feel and the resulting impact on them, determined your way is likely the only way? Do you only reach out and connect when it can benefit you? To be clear, there's absolutely nothing wrong with brainstorming solutions and ideas on your own or being ambitious. But when you routinely favor your ideas and your beliefs and your goals over those of others, like your employees or customers, for instance, your cup is likely overflowing. It's just too full. There's no room left to listen or to learn, which means it's probably time to dump out the remaining tea and find a new recipe.
All right. So being coachable and being teachable is super important. You really want to make sure that as a mentee, you are giving your mentor the utmost respect. Now, a lot of us are leaders in our own right, and God is definitely going to develop us into the leaders that we need to be. But the one thing I want everybody on this call to remember is do not critique your leaders, because you don't know why they're telling you certain things, and you don't know why they are communicating with you in certain ways. And as a mentee, the only way that you're going to be able to receive what they have to say to you is, again, if you have an empty cup. You need to come to your mentors with an empty cup. If you are coming to your mentors challenging them or making it seem like you know more than them and they can't help you out, then you're not going to be able to get to the next level. And not only that, but when you do attract mentees yourself, they are going to give you the same exact hard time. So we want to all remember that as teammates and as business owners and as leaders. We need to be humble, and we need to make sure that everybody is accounted for and that everybody feels valued on the team. Now, next we're going to talk about how to manage your emotions. And before we start that, we need to talk about certain things that you guys need to understand from the jump. One thing that you need to understand is that you are the source of your emotions. You also need to understand that you have choice in which emotions you're going to allow to be in the forefront. And also, you need to understand that you decide your emotions and your emotional responses. So next I want to talk about 3 forces that affect our emotions. One is our physiology, our makeup, our body makeup. We want to make sure that in times where we may feel discouraged or we may feel down, that we're evaluating our posture. If you notice that your head is down, what you need to do is you need to lift your head up. You also need to engage in some movement, so that way you can get some endorphins released into your body, because that is going to really, really, really help you with getting on a better track emotionally. Next, you need to pay attention to your language. Your inner thoughts make up a lot of your reality. And so what you're saying to yourself, the language that you're using when you're speaking on yourself, the language that you're using when you're speaking on your goals and you're speaking on your team, you need to make sure that they are positive. And if they're not positive, you need to make sure that you're challenging your inner thoughts. You need to ask yourself some transformative questions that are going to help you transform yourself from that fixed mindset, that fixed negative mindset, to the growth positive mindset. Also, the last thing is you need to focus. You need to decide on what you will focus on. It's that simple. Those 3 forces really are going to help you manage your emotions. And once you are able to manage your emotions, then you can master your emotions. Then you'll be able to identify your emotions. And that really requires you asking yourself some real questions. What am I feeling? How is it affecting my current perspective? These are some real questions that are going to help you identify your emotions. The next thing you want to do is appreciate the emotion that you're feeling. Don't try to repel your emotions. Don't try to act like they aren't there. Don't try to force yourself into thinking positive right away. Embrace how you're feeling at the moment. Appreciate how you're feeling at the moment, and then use that to transform. Next, you want to analyze the emotion. How can you transform your current negative into a positive? So analyze that emotion. This is where that transformative question comes in. And then you need to make sure that you have the confidence in knowing that you can handle your emotions. You need to make sure that you're choosing a good emotional response. We all are grown. We know what good versus bad emotional responses are. So once you have analyzed your emotion, the next thing you need to do is choose a good emotional response. This is going to help you use your emotions to your advantage instead of your disadvantage. You also need to forgive your emotional triggers. You need to develop some rhino skin. Your skin needs to be so tough that can't anything touch you. Nothing that anything or anyone says to you should affect you. You should have that thick, tough rhino skin, and you need to forgive your emotional triggers, because if you don't, they're going to continue to trigger you. You also need to see the bigger picture. This is where that humility comes in. Humble thyself, because sometimes when we pick the wrong emotional response, is usually linked to an expansion in our ego. So we need to be more humble. We need to take it down. The last thing that you need to do once you have gone through all of those steps and you've come to a place where now you're seeing the bigger picture, you need to take action, and you need to do the emotion. You need to choose the emotional response that is going to bring you the best result. So one thing that I really want everybody to make sure that you're staying plugged into is personal development. Our team is excellent in making sure that we are personally developed. We have team prayer calls every morning at 10 a.m. with Miss Andrea McKeithern and Miss Shammy DeVille. That is daily. We love those calls. They get our day started off right. And every Monday night, we have a millionaire mindset training at 9 p.m. So you guys need to plug into those two staple personal development sessions. And also, the book Making a Shift is something that is always suggested by top leaders. Andy DeVille actually put me onto that book, and I thank him for that every single day. And also the next book is Your First Year in Network Marketing, another book that was suggested by Mr. Andy DeVille. So you guys want to make sure that you guys are staying plugged into personal development, because not only are we going to be giving you guys self-development each and every Tuesday night at 8 p.m., but you also want to hold yourself accountable for developing yourself. Never, ever, ever put your development in someone else's hands. Put it in your own hands, okay? So you guys need to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable for not only getting the GoPro book, but also making sure you make it the prayer call every morning, making sure that you make it on training every Monday night at 9, and also making sure that you're listening to your audiobooks when you're doing your daily activities. Now, this next video is a very short video. This one talks about self-reflection and analysis. And I really thought that this was something that all of us need. Now, we can hear all of this personal development all day long. We can hear all of this professional development all day long. But if we're not reflecting on ourselves, and if we're not taking inventory on how we're actually improving ourselves using the information that we're consuming, then we're wasting our time. So this video right here talks about self-reflection, because we're not trying to waste any time. We want to really make sure that we become better people. We're not trying to just get more money. We want to become better people. So let's self-reflect on, let's watch a video, on self-reflection, so that we can consider ways that we can start applying these practices into our daily life.
Gaining wisdom from an experience requires reflection and thinking back on the significant events of my life, experiences good and bad. It was the act of assigning meaning that has made all the difference. Reflection requires a type of introspection that goes beyond merely thinking, talking, or complaining. It is
Hey, babe.
Don't
you want to for GoDaddy?
Our life have
I
shaped
sent it to you already.
the world,
Shit,
ourselves, and others, and it is essential for any leader. Reflection is what links our performance to our potential. It is the process of properly unpacking ourselves as leaders for the good of others. We can't apply an abstract construct such as leading through crises without experiencing what crises mean. So we should really take some moment to understand why we need to take time to reflect. Think about the moments when you seem to be very busy, but surprisingly unproductive at the end of the day. Therefore, it's important not only to slow down, but to take the first pit stop and look at the journey ahead. Here's 5 reasons why we need to pause and reflect. First, take a break. Our lives and pursuits of our dreams are a marathon, not a sprint. And this means it's crucial that we pace ourselves instead of charging ahead. This will lead to burnout when we charge ahead. Remember also that we need to take things slower and evaluate what's going on. What have we accomplished? When you're in the middle of pursuing your dreams, and hitting the pause button is going to give you time to evaluate what you've accomplished so far. Are you on track with your goals and milestones? Do you have sufficient resources to progress to the next step? Do you need to speed things up? Or can you afford to take things slower? Next, celebrate the victories. Sometimes in the busyness of life, we get so overwhelmed that taking the next step may be too laborious and arduous, sort of like a runner struggling to put one foot in front of another when he's at the point of extreme fatigue.
such a case, pausing and reflecting is going to give us a chance to look back and celebrate victories, however big or small they may be, which we have achieved along this way. Fourth, learn from our mistakes. Certain mistakes we make during our journey really is not apparent until we look back with hindsight. With this in mind, we should see our failures not as reasons for disappointment, but as valuable learning opportunities. Moreover, the more we learn from our previous mistakes, the less likely we'll repeat them down the road. Lastly, check out our future direction. This is probably the most important reason for pausing and reflecting. You can't know where you're going unless you pause to reflect to make sure you're getting exactly where you want to be. We certainly have some benefits to pausing and reflecting. Kevin Cushman, the author of The Pause Principle, shares these benefits. He says, it enables us to focus our intention and our energy, to grow, to create, to solve problems, and to innovate. It provides a way to instill a consistent intentional manner for reflection by building a self-awareness and a clarity of purpose. We explore new ideas, we risk experimentation, we question, we listen, we synthesize, and we also are able to challenge the status quo within us and around us. Reflection is going to help us to understand our strengths and our weaknesses and help us to become better learners as well as better leaders. It also helps us to encourage and to plan development for our capabilities. We're able to adopt new ideas, adopt new strategies, and to apply them effectively. When we look at reflective practice in the workplace, we need to realize that very serious risks can be minimalized when we take the opportunity to ponder the consequences of our choices. The quality is optimized. We're not so worried as much about the quantity. We worry more about the quality. What does the customer think? What does our employee think? Are we giving value to them as people? Others are going to adopt and also use these reflective practice methods. This is going to increase the productivity within an entire organization, as well as ongoing improvement and risk avoidance. These two things are going to help us to avoid stagnation within the corporation, within our families, and within ourselves as we encourage daily innovation. We want to start using reflective practice by simply and mindfully, if not intentionally, thinking about things that have happened in our lives, whether in a personal, a professional, or even a learning situation. It can be done individually or in groups. Reflective practice can be managed via media, or it can be done as a written opportunity. Creative imagery can be done, such as graphic organizers or mind mapping, reflection sketches. A reflective dialogue and discussion with other people, especially if you're an extrovert, are going to really help you to ponder and to think about who you are. So don't give up the opportunity to look at the social media option, academically studying, and also looking at published works. When deciding what method and media to use, consider the basic process for effective practice requires a deliberate way to link and progress through the stages of reflection, understanding, and ultimately ending with action.
All right, guys. So if you think that you got some value from that self-reflection video, I want you to drop some flames in the chat. This is something that a lot of us miss. We miss the self-reflection piece. We want to be leaders. We want to be change agents, and we want to be great people, but we don't self-reflect, and we don't realize that sometimes not being real with ourselves and self-reflecting with ourselves actually stunts our growth. So everybody, that's a part of self-development, is learning how to analyze yourself. And the next part of self-development is pretty much coming up with some discipline. So for our team, we really want to make sure that we are focusing on what we're supposed to be focused on, and also focusing on productivity. So the things that you need to always have in the forefront of your focus is your why, your goals, your income producing activities, utilizing your mentorship, self-development, helping others, growing and managing your team, and upward mobility. When I say upward mobility, I mean advancement. We're only moving up. We're not staying stagnant. So we need to be focused on those 8 things at all times. Now, when we talk about productivity, we need to be focused on doing daily tasks. We want to execute daily tasks. We want to also implement and track our income producing activities so that we can make sure that we're actually following through what we're supposed to do. We need to focus on enrolling clients and agents. We also need to focus on helping our team enroll clients and agents. We need to master the 7-step system, master edification, master 3-way calls, master closing deals, master the presentation, and also master the company overview. So if we're able to do those things, then we know that we are able to produce. And these are the things that are going to help us fine tune our discipline within this business. So we all need to really make sure that we screenshot this screen right here, because this is really, really, really what we need to be focused on as change agents and as people who are going to be helping add value to our community. Next, we need to talk about achieving our goals. So it's a short video by Tony Robbins, and it's just pretty much giving you 3 powerful steps that are going to actually help you achieve your goal. One of the main things being taking massive action. So real quick, what I want everybody to do is drop the words massive action in the chat, because after this call, we're going to be taking some massive action. So I want to see who's all with me. And while that's going on, we're going to go ahead and play this Tony Robbins clip.
Step 1 is obsess, get totally focused, unleash your desire, that gives the energy. Step 2 is not waiting. It's massive action. Keep changing your approach until you find effective execution. If you're running east looking for a sunset, I don't care how positive you are, you're not going to see the sunset. It's the wrong strategy, right? It's just not going to happen. So you got to have a proven strategy, and you can get there faster, same way I've done it with these books, is saying, I could go this, or I could spend 4 years, interview 50 of the smartest people in the world, all billionaires that started with nothing, and find out what they did, and compress decades into days. That's really the purpose of everything that I do. So when you have that plan and keep changing your approach, I always tell people, how long would you give your average kid to learn how to walk? Before you turn to the kid and said, dude, it's never going to happen. You're not a walker. Just give it up. Right? People go, you crazy? My kid's going to keep trying until. Well, that's really step 2. You keep changing your approach until you find it. And then the third step to achievement really is as simple as it may sound. If you're obsessed, you know what you want, you're taking massive action. Maybe you modeled somebody, figure out the right action so you get there quicker, and you're executing. You still need a little grace. Some people call it luck. You could call it God. But I really believe that there's the part we do, and then there's the part that comes to us. But I do know grace shows up a lot more when you do the first 2 steps on your own, and grace shows up a lot more when you acknowledge grace in your life, when you acknowledge that I was born in a world where I didn't have to build this internet that I can pull out of my pocket the answer to anything on earth. I am driving on streets I didn't pave. I'm reading books I didn't have to write. That's the gift of our lives. And I think when we experience that grace, we don't just experience more achievement, but we start to experience more fulfillment.
And grace not only affects your ability to get there, but it affects what you do and how you live once you are there.
It really determines the quality of your life, because unless you live in a state of gratitude, I did an interview with Sir John Templeton, who, as you know, is one of the first billionaire investors and just a brilliant man. He came from nothing. And he donated, I think it was they still do it, the Templeton Fund, I think it's $750 million a year. It's bigger than the Nobel Fund that he donates. And one day I asked him, I said, what is the secret to wealth? And he looked at me, paused, this big smile, and his eyes got really bright, like they always did. And he said, Tony, it's what you teach. I said, well, I teach a lot of things, which thing? And he said, gratitude. He said, because you and I, Tony, know billionaires that are miserable, and it's because they're not grateful for what they have. And we both know people have no money, seemingly, but they're so grateful for their health, for their husband, for their wife, for their children. They're so grateful to God. They're so grateful for their life that they're rich. So I think it starts with that gratitude. It starts with that connection to grace, as simplistic as that sounds. And so it's not enough just to have your financial plan. You have all the money and be miserable. Let's have the money and be really rich emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually.
Yes. So I love that clip. He definitely talked about having faith. He actually talked about grace as well, which are 2 very spiritual concepts. But the one thing that I love that he also emphasized was the massive action, because we all know that results are not going to just come from faith and grace. They're also going to come from us taking action. You cannot pray for something and then not walk towards it. You have to make sure that you are going out and getting what you pray for. So again, we're going to be taking massive action. And with that being said, we need everybody who is on this call. If you are not a field trainer, you need to be hitting field trainer by this Saturday, August 1st, 2020. You have until midnight. Also, you need to know how to qualify for field trainers. So we all know that field trainers need 2 agents, 3 customers, and a minimum of 1,600 in group value. So you need to make sure that you know that. Now, all field trainers, you guys need to really make sure that you set yourself up with 3 new agents, honestly, because it's going to help you hit sales director much quicker. And if you have new agents that you brought into to your organization by this Saturday, they're all going to make sure that they're at field training by August 13th. So that way you can go ahead and structure yourself for SD. So we need everybody to make sure that that's what you're doing. You're hitting those goals. And real quick, I want to play this clip that's going to teach everybody in this chat how to hit SD in 90 days. Now, again, our deadline is going to be much quicker than that. Our deadline is actually August 13th. So if you're taking down notes, you want to write that down for your goal, August 13th, because the volume month ends on August 15th. So we need to make sure that our goals are secured 2 days in advance. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. If you know for sure you're hitting sales director, you really need to key in and take some notes.
All right, hey everyone, this is Bill Conley, Vice President with FBS. Now, I joined FBS 4/11/17, so that's about a year and a half ago. And I just want to quickly let you know that this business, these products have absolutely changed my life. The first thing going in, I was more concerned about fixing my credit. It attracted me to this business due to the fact that they had credit repair, credit restoration, and all the other amazing products, you know, that go along with it. So first go around, did my dispute forms with FES. 4 out of 5 judgments got deleted. I have that on video to prove that to you if you need any social proof like some people do. But 4 out of 5 items were deleted the first go around, and I was really, really excited. And I said, you know what? I have to get this out to other people. So you can make one of our live Zoom webinars where we go over the products and the compensation plan in depth. But what I want to do right now is give you a quick overview of how you can hit sales director in 30 days, okay? The comp plan for FES, 30 days to sales director, okay? So we're going to go right into this. So, hey, great. You come on board and you sign up, okay? You're an agent. Welcome to the team. So first, here's you at the top. You can see you at the top. And your goal is to become field trainer your very first week. Your very first week, your goal is to go out there and become field trainer. And how you do that is when you come on board with FES, you're going to get 400 points in volume directly for your sign up. Okay, so you sign up, you have 400 points for an agent as soon as you sign up. Your goal then is to go out and find 2 business partners your very first week, okay, getting 400 and 400, that will be 800 more volume and your 400. And then you want to go out, and the red is making sales of the FES Protection Plan membership. Because for each customer that you bring on with FES, you're going to get 200 in volume. So agents are 400, customers are 200. So for this example, we're using you as the top. You get 400 in volume for your sign up. You go out and get 2 business partners, agents, and you get 400 and 400. That's 800. And then you go out and you make 3 sales of the Protection Plan membership to help people fix their credit, and you will get 200, 200, 200, or 600. And that total all together is 1,800 and making you a field trainer. And that's the first rank up in the company. And we want to do this as quickly as possible. All right, we want to do this as quickly as possible so we can get you off and going, get you ranked up, get you making your money back and be in the profit and celebrate you with that first rank up. So, you know, this is how you want to go about your first week and getting you to the field trainer level. That's what we want to do. That's important. And then getting your agents to duplicate that the second week. So they come on board and their first week is to become a field trainer as well. So we have you in the first week, right? We got you to field trainer. You got your 1,800 in volume. You got your rank up. And now we want to get those 2 agents that you brought in to do the same exact thing. 2 agents each, 3 protection plan memberships, and boom. Now in the second week, you have 4 new agents in your organization from the 2 agents you brought on. And that's 1,600 in volume, 400, 400, 400, 400. And then you want those 2 new agents to go out and get 3 sales each, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, and that's 1,200 for a grand total of 2,800 that your 2 agents brought into it. Plus your 1,800 that you created gives you a grand total of 4,600 in points or volume, okay? Inches away from the 5,000. You just need 400 more, and then you become a senior field trainer. All right, so basically what happens is now you have a total of 4,600 in volume. You have 3 agents who are starting to duplicate, becoming field trainers, and then you enroll 1 more agent yourself, so that's your 3rd agent, and you want to help them get 2 agents and 3 sales. All right, that new agent is going to give you 1,800 more volume. And you add that to all the other weeks, the 4,600, and then this new 1,800 in week 3, and now you're at 6,400 in total points or volume on your team, and that hits the rank of senior field trainer. All right. Once you become an agent and you bring on your first couple agents, you make $100 a person. Once you go to field trainer, you make $160 when you bring on an agent. It starts getting good. But when you hit this rank of senior field trainer, now for every agent you bring in, you're getting $240 helping them get 2 customers. How powerful is that? So that's what you want to do. You want to come on board. You want to hit field trainer first, and then we want to get you to the senior field trainer. So you have your 2 field trainers right here. You bring on your brand new agent. You work with them to become a field trainer, and that's where you're at the spot right here, number 4, of hitting the rank of senior field trainer with that 6,400 in total volume. All right, so check this out. Now that's you right there. And you got your agents, you got your team being built. And week 4, 2 agents duplicate their enroller. All right, so you want your 2 agents to just duplicate what you did, becoming senior field trainers, and boom, now you're up to 11,000 in volume, hitting the rank of sales director, okay? So week 4 is where you're going to push hard to become that sales director. And at that level, you're making $360 when you bring on an agent. All right, if any of your agents bring on an agent, whatever rank they're at, they get their money, and what's ever left over will roll up to the 380 part, and that's how the passive money goes. So in week 4, you have your 2 agents you want to duplicate with them. Points from week 3 is 1,800. Points for week 4 is 2,800 for a grand total of the 44,600. Then you want to duplicate that, getting you to the 11,000 and hitting the rank of sales director, right? How cool is that? So I just wanted to put this quickly together. Remember, you make 400 in volume for each agent, brand new, that you bring on board. 200 for each new customer that you bring on board. The second month, this is why you want to do it in a 4-week process, because you're utilizing all the 400s in volume, all the 200s in volume. Because once someone makes their second payment, meaning they're in the next cycle, you only get 85 volume for an agent because they're making an $89 payment, and you get $100 in volume for a customer. So that's why you want to get off on a quick start using your 400, the new agents is 400, and work week 1 to get the field trainer, week 2 to get, the senior field trainer, and follow this process right here. So if you need to watch this video again, watch it again. If you need to share it with your team members, the whole goal is to break field trainers in the first week, hopefully the first couple days. All right, so you come on board, you're an agent. Let's go back to that. So you come on board and you're an agent, and the whole goal, this is the most critical part right here. This is the most critical part, is you want to go out and get your 2 agents and get 3 customers. Think about that. Go out, get 2 agents, 3 customers. Then you want to help your 2 agents to duplicate that. And you just keep that process going. Every brand new agent that you bring on your team Your focus is how quickly can you get them to field training. Week 1 is the goal. All right. Week 2 is to get your 2 new agents, because you can only become a field trainer with 2 agents or more, is to get your new agents to field trainer as quickly as possible. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I appreciate you all. If you have any questions or anything like that, just definitely get back with me, get back with your upline, whoever you need to, and just really understand this comp plan. All right. Have a great day.
All right, guys. So we got to move quick. We got to make sure that we get everybody to sales director by 8:13. So real quick, what I want everybody to do is type SD813 in the chat, because that's our goal. Now we can do some income producing activities to make sure that we hit that goal on time. So real quick, I just want to go over 5 simple tasks that everybody can do. You want to make sure that you screenshot these tasks. The first thing you want to do is go live. That's one thing I'm going to challenge myself to do, is go live every day. So you want to make live videos. You want to make sure that your lives are relatable. Don't make them salesy. Tell people why they need what you have, but you don't need to make it salesy. So what you need to do is create stories. You need to make people think about their own personal situation. You need to tell them about yourself and leverage your own stories. People are multidimensional, so you need to make sure that they know that you are multidimensional as well. It's going to build trust between you and your audience, and you also need to make sure that you include a call to action at the end, so that way people know how to get in contact with you. Next, we need to make sure that we're using the PS3 system. You want to pique interest, share information, and set up a 3-way call with your prospect and your mentor. So you can use the social media templates that are in your back office for UCES and also FES. You want to share some information with the client and agent using the communication scripts that we have in our back office. You also want to make sure that you use the right marketing materials, so that way they're getting the right information. Last but not least, set up a 3-way call with your upline, or if you're on our team, you can call my sister and myself. Now, we do have some leaders that are on our team that also are mastering the 3-way calls. That's Adrian, Miracle, Elizabeth, Nikki, Tanya, Imani, Tony, Charlene, Markia, Katera. So these are also leaders that we can leverage as well for 3-way calls. They do a pretty good job at them. So next, what we need to do is also focus on ad tagging and messaging. We have a brilliant group called Credit and Financial Freedom Breakthrough. Everybody needs to be adding their prospect to that group. Add them, tag them in the Steve Harvey Show post. We don't want to flood the timeline with welcome posts. We want to just put them into that Steve Harvey and Ashton Henry post. And then you want to follow up and message them. This is what I send. Thanks for joining our group. How are you liking the vibe? Also, what are your personal financial goals? From there, I can kind of get a feel of what they need and then pitch either client or agent to them. Next, we need to make sure that we're tap rooting. You need to be asking for shout outs and trial runs. Ask clients and prospects for a shout out no matter what, whether they close or not. You also want to put your agent's prospects on a trial run. You want to do it all the time. One, because it's a good way for you to tap into their contacts, get them, some momentum real quick. Also, it's going to help you qualify your prospect, and it also holds your posture. If they're on a trial run, you're already establishing yourself as their leader, and you're already giving them simple tasks that they're following. Next, last but not least, you want to make sure that you're using scripts that automatically lead to tap rooting, which most of our scripts do. And you also want to use the same post every time you ask for a shout out or a trial run, just so that it could be a no-brainer for you. The last thing that you want to do is invite to events. We have PBRs that you can, schedule with your upline, webinars, and in-person events. So you want to make sure that you're inviting serious prospects only to your events. You want to make sure that you have built a rapport with your prospects before you invited them, so that your invite will be validated. If no one knows you, if you never had a conversation with them, they're not going to care about your invite, just being real. Also, you need to make sure that they shout you out or post a trial run before you send them the link. It's a good way of tap rooting. And you always make sure that you ask them to invite other people. That's another good way of tap rooting, getting them to bring their own people with them. Also, you want to stay on top of your goals. We have a weekly and daily method of operation tracker. So you can pretty much reach out to your upline or your team leader and ask them to email this to you. We all have it, and we'll email it to you. That way you guys can stay on top of your goals. So that's pretty much my portion. The next portion, I want to actually bring up another speaker, my sister Amira Beasley. She's going to quickly give you guys some tips on team building and also leadership. She's our regional sales director on our team. She does an amazing job with making sure that the culture and the climate within our team is A1. And again, without further ado, I'm going to just go ahead and move myself out the way and bring up regional sales director, Miss Amira Beasley. Hello, everybody. Hello. So, guys, I definitely want you to go ahead and type some ones in the chat if there was some good information that you guys seen so far. I definitely want to give this call back to Akila. She definitely took her time and thought and energy to put this together, and this was definitely a great presentation and format. Definitely something to get everybody started off the right way for the week. So definitely thank you to her. And then I want to just go ahead and start talking about team building and leadership. So guys, pretty much personal development, this is a personal development call, and it does begin with you, but your personal development and the way that you handle things does transfer over to other people, especially your team. So we want to definitely give you some pointers on how to deal with your personal development when it comes to team building and leadership. So guys, you want to be considerate and respectful to others in the chat. We primarily communicate through the chat. So we want to make sure that we are being respectful and considerate. So that means that we want to make sure that it's positive thoughts and language in the chat only, okay? So we want to leave these types of topics out the chat. If you can't attend events, you definitely want to just plug into some personal development and report it to your upline. We definitely want to make sure that we're having open and honest lines of communication with our upline, but everybody doesn't have to know that we cannot attend events. If you are feeling discouraged, definitely tap into some personal development and report to your upline. Your upline does need to know that you're feeling discouraged so that they can give you tips and tricks on how to pretty much come up out of that and income producing pointers on how to, get yourself out of feeling discouraged as well. But the whole entire team does not need to know that you're feeling discouraged. And if you're not feeling well or things are just happening in your outside life, maybe things is just a little bit haywire for you, overwhelming, definitely tap into some personal development and report to your upline. We definitely care about you. We care about your well-being, but we definitely want to make sure that we're limiting the types of things that we put into the chat because we want to make the chat a positive place. So guys, why, I pretty much already told you, but why do you have to limit the things that you put in the chat? Why do you always have to think about positivity and consideration when you're talking in the chat? Well, the reason why is because we all go through it. Your teammates go through it. Your mentors go through it. Your downline goes through it. This is not an easy business, and life is not easy, guys. But the chat is meant for people to find information and motivation, okay? We must maintain a positive atmosphere in the chat, and you never know, guys, if you put something negative or you put something that's not particularly positive in the chat, you never know who it will trigger, okay? A lot of people do come into this business. They may hit a hard time and they feel discouraged. One thing that we don't want to do is put that in the chat, and then we have 10 other people in the chat talking about how discouraged they're feeling, and now it's a whole pity party in the chat when we could be using that time to plug into some personal development and do some income producing activities, guys. So one more time, you want to make sure that the chat stays positive. We keep a positive atmosphere in the chat. So if things are getting hard, like I said, guys, you want to tap into some personal development. That's the most important thing. And of course, you do want to discuss it with your upline. We are your mentors, so we do want to make sure that, you are guided in the right way, your head is in the right space, and things like that. But you definitely want to make sure that you're not transferring that energy to anybody else. So team building, how do you build a team? How do you make sure that the team is good? The one thing that you need to do is stay active in the chats. So you want to congratulate others in the chats. When we get enrollments and we drop them in the chats, you want to make sure you're saying congratulations to everybody. Even if you're in a place where you're not getting enrollments, you want to realize that, definitely if God is in the neighborhood, he's blessing people, and he's definitely going to bless you soon. So you want to make sure that you are definitely saying congratulations in the chat, because who knows, you can get your next enrollment and we'll all be congratulating you. Next, you want to make sure that you're giving a warm welcome to all new agents. So if you got a new agent and you're bringing them in the chat, you definitely want to make sure you give them a nice warm welcome. Make them feel like a part of the family. Don't just put them in the chat and say, welcome this person, everybody. You want to tell us about the person. Tell us why they got involved in the business. What is special about them? You want to make them feel special. And then when other people welcome their new agents in the chat, you definitely want to make sure that they feel welcomed as well by saying welcome. You want to drop encouragement when teammates are in need, okay? A lot of time your teammates may report to their upline and tell their upline that, something is going on with them, and the upline might drop something in the chat asking, all of us to pray for them. You definitely want to drop some prayer hands in the chat. You definitely want to, send your thoughts over everything like that, because if you were going through that situation, you would want the same thing to be done for you as well. And like I said before, like the whole focus is you want to keep the chat positive, 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 okay? Another thing that we need to do when it comes to team building is that we need to keep good relationships within the team. So this is a business. We do need to make sure that we are staying professional. We are holding professional relationships with others, and we're not crossing certain boundaries when it comes to those relationships. And also, this is especially when it comes to the mentee and mentor relationship. You need to keep an open, honest, and respectful line of communication, okay? We're all adults in this business. Nobody should be disrespecting each other. Nobody should be dishonest with each other, and nobody should be withholding information if it's definitely important that we need to know it. Sorry, guys. All right. So, guys, you have to remember that you are a part of a big team, okay? So you have to be conscious of the energy that you are putting out and the part you play within the team. So like I said before, if you're feeling discouraged, you're feeling down in the dumps, you're not really feeling up to it, please do not bring that energy into the group chat. Please do not bring that energy to the rest of your teammates. All you have to do is tap into some personal development, maybe discuss it with your upline, and make some money. Do some income producing activities, and you will be fine. Trust me. So with that being said, I do want to get into the mentor-mentee relationship. One thing that our whole entire team needs to understand is that mentors are utilized, not used. I'll say that one more time. Mentors are utilized and not used. So what I want to do is I want to break down the roles of the mentors and the mentee. Oh, wait. All right. This is supposed to be mentee over here. I'm sorry, guys. I want to definitely break down the roles of the mentors and the mentee. Mentors, if you have a team up under you, you want to make sure that you're putting yourself in the position to be utilized correctly, okay? And you also want to make sure that you're holding your posture so that you are not used by your mentees. So you want to hold your mentee accountable for reaching their goals. You want to plug your mentee into personal development. If your upline got you on this call, they are doing their job. You want to help your mentee develop professionally, okay? You want to make sure your mentee understands the tasks that they need to do. You want to make sure that you're building culture and great relationships. You want to make sure that you're establishing and implementing duplication. The only way that you can establish and implement duplication is if you're duplicating yourself. You want to make sure that you're developing your leadership within the mentee, okay? So you definitely want to make sure that all your mentees, you definitely pouring into them on how to be a leader. And you want to also make sure that you're teaching your mentee how to build and manage their team. So, like I said over here, mentee roles. This is supposed to be mentee roles. Hold on 1 second. Oh, we got something wrong in the chat. Hold on 1 second, guys. The mentor roles is for holding themselves accountable for reaching their goals, okay? You want to make sure that you are plugging into personal development. I always say that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So your mentee can give you all of the personal development that they can, but if you're not opening up the links, if you're not reading the books, if you're not listening to the videos or the songs or anything, then you're not plugging into personal development, and there's nothing really that your mentor can do for you. You also want to make sure that you are developing professionally as well. So all of the tips and tricks that your mentor gives you on how to work the business and how to hold posture, how to just be a business person, you definitely want to make sure that you are retaining that and you are putting that to use. You want to make sure that you are doing the daily tasks, okay? You want to make sure that you are doing income producing activities as well. Your mentor cannot help you if you are not going to work. You want to make sure that you are keeping relationships, positive relationships within your team. You want to make sure that you are duplicating as well. So like I said, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. Your upline, your mentor can tell you everything that you need to know in this business, but if you're not applying it, then they cannot help you. So you want to make sure that you are definitely making sure you're staying in duplication. You also want to make sure you're developing as a leader as well. So that goes into personal development. You definitely want to make sure you are plugging into personal development. Anything that your mentor teaches you about being a leader, you definitely want to make sure that you are listening to that. You want to make sure that you are retaining, listening and retaining information. And you also want to make sure that you just hold yourself accountable and you keep your feelings in check, guys. A lot of times, you know, as a mentee, you will get corrected. You may get critiqued, and it may be something that you don't want to hear. But guys, this is only being told to you so that you can better improve yourself and better improve your business. So if it's something that you don't want to hear from your mentor, you just want to make sure that you're keeping your emotions in check, you're listening, and you are, you know, just implementing. So I do apologize for that mix up. Definitely wanted to put those, you know, that information up on the slides, but hopefully you guys were able to get that information about the mentee rules. So lastly, guys, you want to make sure that you remember that the best leaders were followers first. So I put a picture up here of a mama duck and the baby ducks. What thing we need to realize is that even though this mama duck is leading, she was once a baby duck in a pack before, okay? She didn't learn how to lead all on her own. She learned how to lead while being in a pack. So guys, you want to make sure that as an agent in this business, you can, you know, switch between both. You can switch between being the mother duck and you can switch between being the baby duck in the pack as well. All right, guys, so that is the end of my slides. I definitely want to go ahead and give this call back to Akila so she can go ahead and finish up. All right, thank you so much for that, Amira. That was amazing. I really love the fact that you touched on the mentor and the mentee relationship. I love the fact that you said your mentors should be utilized and not used. That's something that we need to really, you know, just make sure that we embed into our practice, because of course you don't want to be used when you have your own mentees. So real quick, I want to just kind of bring up Miss Shammy DeVille. I know that she's going to be taking the lead on the self-development team that we're going to be meeting up on every Tuesday night at 8. So I wanted to just bring up Shammy DeVille just to see if she had any closing remarks before we end the meeting.
Yes. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Okay, yes, I do. This was great. Like, this was awesome. If you guys got some value in this, like, this was like hardcore self-development. Like, I learned some things. Like, me and Andy here looked at each other like, like, we need to bring our notebooks out. So this was awesome. I loved it. Thank you, Akila. So Tuesday night at 8 p.m., we are going to meet together. This is hardcore, guys. This is hardcore, but I'm just so glad that you guys stayed on. And I'm glad that, you know, we're going to get to the next level. And I'm claiming and I'm declaring everybody that's on this call is going to get to the next level, whether it's being SD, ESD, RSD, VP, the end goal. Like, I see us at the pinnacle level. I see us taking our mentors and our leaders to the pinnacle level because like, this is what it takes. Like, we've been on multiple calls today, and I've seen the same people jump on these calls back to back. Like, that's what a true leader is, right? Eric Ward, he said, you know, sometimes when we get on calls and we have our mentors and they're just like, yeah, oh my God, we got to get on these calls. Oh my God, like, those complainers, like, just to see that you guys stayed on and you guys were just combating and You guys were in war today. I just want to give kudos back to you guys. Like, this was some real deal, like war zone, World War III, World War Z, whatever you may call it, but y'all did it. And this is what's going to take us to the next level. This is challenging myself as a leader. I know it's challenging, all the other leaders that's on this call, but whatever it takes for us to get to the next level, by so mean, we will do it. We want to see the growth in this whole organization. And I know, and I believe it. I'm going to manifest it. I have faith in it that we're all going to get to the next level. So Tuesday at 8 p.m., we're going to create the group. I'm going to get with Akila. Me and Akila are going to be on a call for hours just to try to get y'all to the next level and make sure we have a whole curriculum in place where we're just not all over the place. So we ready for it. I know I'm ready for it, sis. I don't know if you are, but I'm ready for it. So 8 p.m., make sure you guys have your books by tomorrow, whether it be an Audible, if you're going to listen to it on Apple Music, or if you're going to purchase the book. I know I'm going to listen to it on Apple Music as well as I'm going to buy the book as well and other books. So GoPro, we're doing that this week. Have any questions while you're reading or listening to it, make sure you jot that down, because on Tuesdays, we're going to have a Q&A, and this is going to be fun. I'm excited about it. If y'all excited, go ahead and type me in the chat. So yeah, so in order to qualify for that book club, make sure you have the book. Get it tonight. Like, if y'all real serious, I would get it tonight. If any of you guys need help purchasing the book, reach out to me. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it shake, so we can all get to the next level, because I feel like we are in war zone right now. You know, when the pastor like tell your neighbor like war zone, I need you guys to like put your combat hats on, those army clothes on, and let's get to it. So if you guys need help with the Audible, I know it's free if I'm not mistaken, but reach out to me. We are gonna get the group done. Reach out to your mentor so you can be added. And if you want to be added but you don't have me as a friend, please friend request me. I know I'm at 5,000 friends. I'll delete some people. But I'm ready. I'm excited to be doing this. I'm super, super excited. So let's get to the next level, y'all. I'm going to pass the call right back over to my sis, Miss Akila.
Thank you, sis. And I'm very excited to do it as well. I can't wait until Tuesday. I can't wait to pretty much put the whole entire thing together. And definitely glad that God put this on our hearts to do. This team is really going to the next level. And so what we need to do is just level up, implement everything that we're learning, and take it to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. I want to thank everyone for getting on, and we'll see everybody on Tuesday.